Apple's iMacs usually hold their price relatively well, but sometimes when browsing the depths of eBay, you can come across some of the worst purchasing decisions you could possibly ever make. Now this here is meant to be my Mac Mini that I picked up for £26. It's meant to come with an install disc, which I've already got someone that's going to buy that later on today for £20. So realistically, through the joy of this being listed under a disc rather than a computer, this has cost me, in real terms, £6. So why don't we get this open and find out just what it looks like. Well, that's open. That is what I've already sold to someone for 20 quid, so there's our money back. And then we have what's left for me, which is an actual nice DVI cable, the official power brick, and then this, I can't even remember what this one is. I think it's an early Mac Mini. Well, there's our Mac Mini. A screw has just fallen out the bottom of it, which is not ideal. Where's that? Oh. I don't know if you could hear. There was a bit of a rattle. Oh well, it's clearly come from a school. Oh, it's come from Cashies. It's come from Cash Converters. Tested date 2021. So we've got a Cash Converters Mac Mini. I didn't buy it from Cash Converters, but someone did. That's a weird one. I wonder if it ever left Cash Converters. Why don't we get this plugged in though and find out if the Cash Converters Mac Mini works? Because I wasn't expecting a Cash Converters Mac Mini, but it showed up with all the bits, so let's go plug that in and find out if it turns on. So we've got the Mac here. It's that screw. I don't know where that screw's come from. It's a quality DVI cable though. Plug that in. Now, the real question is, will it turn on? Moment of truth. Oh, we have noises. Oh, that speaker is dying. It is on. I mean, the only people that were bidding on this were just bidding on it for this, because essentially you're getting that for free with the disc. Still loading. It's an old hard drive. I don't even know, what can you even do with these? I suppose we'll find out what we can do with it, but oh wow, we've got the original welcome screen. I think this might have actually come from Cash Converters, and so it just didn't sell, so some member of the shop has just sold it off with the repair disc. Speaker is seen better days. This is going too well, because it's all actually working. Well, we're at the desktop. Well, we'll let this load up, do its thing, and come back to it in a minute and find out how much of it is actually going to work. As I started to get things set up though, things already started on a bit of a strange trajectory, with this Mac Mini deciding it won't actually read partitions that were set up and created on it for Mac use over on an iMac of a similar era. I mean, this is a partition designed purely for Macs to use, which was a bit of a monumental pain because I've kept plenty of software backed up on a small 100GB partition just for actually testing these rather hateful devices. And it's worth saying, I don't actually hate iMacs, that's far from it, but these weird little ones that have been used with disdain for 20 years or so and are left in awful condition, even so that Cash Converters couldn't sell them and it somehow ended up on eBay, well, you get that these ones are all kinds of painful. So while I get some software installed, just how much power do you get from an iMac that ultimately cost me just £6? Now I believe this model is a Mac Mini 2.1, which means it's one of the early releases from around sort of 2007-ish, and one that most people will be familiar with because they were used in schools and the like for media production and things like that. And I won't be covering the history at all today because this example does not do them any justice. Or maybe it does, depending on how you look at it, because most of these have ended up in staggeringly poor condition, and it's impressive just how difficult it is to find these that have actually been looked after. It does, on a more positive note, feature an Intel Core 2 Duo, which thanks to Snow Leopard actually being pre-installed, means that it's actually relatively fast to use still, but unfortunately this also means it's hampered down with the accursed Intel GMA950. You know, the graphics chip's so awful, it can't even run Windows Vista properly, so I've got no idea how they managed to make it cope with what is actually a more graphically intensive operating system. It does come with 1GB of RAM, tiny by today's standards, but at the time you could actually do something with that,
and today they find themselves near enough worthless. They sell for anywhere from £10 to £30 over on eBay, depending on the condition, and if you find yourself fortunate, you can usually get them with the install disc included if they come from somewhere like Cash Converters, where they just want rid of these now. And you can flog that disc for 20 quid, because the discs are actually worth something. So these are well and truly the cheapest Mac you can possibly get. Thing is though, as much as this thing is in awful condition, it was actually relatively capable of running somewhat okay. The fans weren't ramping up anything crazy, and even with the deficit of screws holding it together, nothing too untoward seemed to be happening. Dual-core support is also actually relatively brilliant in these older versions of OS X, so while we were quite comfortably able to run multiple installers and actually test out some games while we were getting everything all set up, it was nice to see that it runs okay. I mean, RAM wasn't an issue, the processor wasn't an issue, and it all seemed to be going fine. We were unzipping the Adobe suite, which for those of you that remember doing that back in the day, usually takes upwards of a couple of hours to actually install all of the programs. So it was able to do this absolutely fine. I think we were done installing relatively quickly, so maybe things weren't going to go too badly. Conveniently still working was the disk drive. Usually on a lot of these old Macs they tend to give up and stop working, and we are really clutching at straws to find some positives, so I'll take that one. But this was never a video I planned on making, and it's still staying powered on for now. So after what must have been a relatively drawn out 2 hours trying to get some software loaded onto this thing, it would appear that our little £6 Mac Mini had actually managed to achieve the impossible, which meant it stayed working long enough for us to actually try and do some real testing. Now, with all of that out of the way, this is a Mac. It's an old Mac, and it comes from that weird middle era where software doesn't want to support it, games don't really like it, and the community doesn't find it quirky or rare enough to be nostalgic or want to give them anything in the way of support. I mean, can you blame them really? There's a few things out there resource-wise, but ultimately, these are the weird, low-end Intel Macs that aren't quirky in the way PowerPC was, and they're not powerful like the later ones would go on to be. So all they have going for them is they're cheap. But anyway, this is a budget builders video, so I've got to do some sort of testing, and I've managed to give you some somewhat really underwhelming and an equal part depressing performance in the benchmarks. Starting off, what yes we are going to call the benchmarks was Minecraft. I was running an old version here which was 1.2.5, and yes we did have Optifine running and virtually everything set down to the lower settings, but we could actually run the game in a relatively high resolution, and it really takes me back to the old days of actually trying to make this run on an Intel GMA chip, because that's exactly what we're doing here to get this running. And there's no guarantee that it's going to work well, because there were shadows that simply didn't load in, but I mean that just sort of adds to the Intel GMA aesthetic, and once everything had loaded in we did see a relatively playable 30 FPS, and that was our average once chunks had loaded in. The moment you started loading up more, the GMA chip was just struggling to load in what very few effects it was being asked, and you could end up with these weird shadows that would take anywhere from 30 seconds up to about 5 minutes to actually load in. So it runs, but it runs with consequences. Next up is probably one of the better ports that KOTOR received with the weird and rare Mac release, which mysteriously will actually launch on Intel GMA chips. I mean, it mostly wants to run on old PowerPC systems, which, you know, have something like dedicated graphics and actually do something, but even with lower settings, it almost seemed playable in places. When nothing was going on, you could actually sort of enjoy what was happening. But when you entered combat, or just looked at a wall in the wrong way, well, let's just say you're down to a single-digit frame rate that makes a PowerPoint look smooth.
This is one of the rare instances where OpenArena, that runs on absolutely everything, simply just doesn't work.
Halo combat of old was almost okay in some places. I mean, this game is from the ages of the early original Xbox era and was originally designed for Macs. It's got a weird story behind it, but anyway, it's sort of a good test for these kind of Macs. And here we are running it in the obscure 800 by 400 resolution with the lowest possible settings, and even then, it's not like it loads in properly, with what looks like random polygons just sort of trying to make up where effects are meant to be. The frame rate wasn't actually too awful because of this, because the game isn't actually rendering properly, and you could actually play through quite a bit of Halo like this. I mean, it'll be worse in every way compared to any system you can get your hands on, or even an original Xbox, but it's not necessarily the worst I've ever seen it run, so we can give it some sort of congratulations for running what is a 24-year-old title. And one of the main things going for a Mac Mini was sort of, the speakers it's got built in, the idea you've got an entire system that you just plug into a monitor. But we've heard those speakers struggle with just noises. So what does the actual intro to a game sound like when you buy a Mac from Cash Converters? I suppose after this I could tell you that I did some productivity testing, and sure, it all still works fine. With period accurate software you can comfortably use Photoshop, After Effects, anything like that for video or photo editing, the same way you would back in 2007, so as long as you respect the limits, it's fine. The only good thing I'm actually going to say here is that the Wi-Fi adapter built into these is surprisingly solid. It achieved a perfect signal even when crammed into the back of an office behind a monitor. So from that perspective, the actual hardware here might be usable for some projects, and maybe we'll do that at some point. And I mean, I've got to give macOS some credit here, even Safari works. It won't load most websites, but you can still use it better than Internet Explorer to actually look around the web, load up some low-res JPEGs of an image and save them to your hard drive, get on Google and do some basic web browsing. So, it wasn't that bad of an experience. And it's a lot smoother than, say, an old 2007 Dell SFF PC probably would be, because that'd be running tons of software that it can't manage to run, when realistically, unless, you're getting one of those Windows XP on it, they're going to be much slower than this is. So it's not amazing, this Mac, but for the price, it does deserve a degree of admiration for the fact it can manage video editing, photo editing, just actually being a usable computer. That was up until I actually went to do a bit more heavier testing on the machine. I was going to try and modernize it, maybe upgrade the operating system, and see what we can actually do when we start really pushing this thing. And well, sadly, I did have the camera rolling, and I've managed to capture exactly what the Cash Converters Mac Mini decided to do when it decided, yeah, that's enough testing. That might be a good idea. Well, that's not good. What's that? Sort of died. Great! So there we have it, a relatively small video on why you probably shouldn't buy rejected parts from Cash Converters. I mean, I might give this thing a bit of a diagnosis and see if I can get it running again, and who knows, maybe we'll whack Windows XP on it or something like that, just to see if it's maybe not so useless running another operating system, because that's the thing with these. Old macOS, it's nice to look at, and it's nostalgic for all of the first few hours you use it, and then you realise you can't really do anything with it. I mean, if I need to edit something, there's much better open source or free software I can use on Linux, Windows, even a new version of macOS that will trump the old Adobe suite. That's nothing against the old Adobe suite, it's quality software, but you're really hampered by the fact you're going to be using it on what is a dying Mac Mini. I mean, if anyone has any suggestions of what they want to see done, just let me know and I'll have a little bit of a look through and see if we can salvage something out of this. Because it's been a little while since we've done one of these smaller projects, and it's actually just been a lot of fun just to, test this thing out. I wasn't even planning on looking at it. So I hope you all enjoyed this weird and dumb project. I'm currently £6 down and one broken Mac Mini up, so I don't know if that's a positive. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this rather chaotic small little video, and good night.